Hey, what's up? This is Scott with Level Up Tutorials, and in this video, we're going to be building a user management dashboard. Now, we've already started with the roles. What we're going to do is take it to the next level by actually building out a user administrative page where we can upgrade roles, change users, and all sorts of stuff like that. So let's get going on that right now. So where we left off, we have this not authorized. Let's go ahead and hit Control M, open up our Meteor tools, and add to our roles. We just want to add admin just so we can get to the dashboard. Because what we're going to be doing in this video is building a user management dashboard. So we could say admin. Okay. And this interface isn't the best for modifying these, but it works. So we can do Control M, and as you can see, we now have a dashboard as well as user management and dashboard. I already had this users management in here, but as you can see, the link takes you nowhere. So let's go ahead and jump into our app nav, which is listed into our partials. So app nav, and I'm going to change this path to /admin/ users. Okay, let's go ahead. I'm going to copy this path, and now we're going to head to our routes because obviously we need to build a route. So routes.js, we have our routes, and let's go ahead. And the first thing I actually want to do here is create a flow router group routing. Now the cool thing about groups is it allows us to define a whole bunch of different paths and layouts that are going to be using the same prefix or root of the URL. So we can go ahead and say var admin routes is equal to flow router dot group. Now this is going to be a method here that takes an object. Inside of this object, we want to give this a path prefix. So prefix is going to be equal to admin, and not just admin, but /admin. Okay, so the prefix of /admin means every single route that is part of the admin routes is now going to be /admin/ something else. For instance, what we want, admin/users. So this is going to be really nice because we can have our routes totally grouped together in a way where all of the URLs are going to stay with the same prefix. Now we can go ahead and have this say comma and say name is equal to admin. Okay. And that's all we really need to define our group here. Now the next thing we can do is define a new route by admin routes. Now we now have access to the route method where we can say admin routes, and then inside of here we want to pass this the actual route, which is /users. Okay, so the /users route is comma going to get, and then now this is just going to be like any other flow router route. Once we have defined the group, this really functions just like this up here. So we can really, let's just copy all this stuff from here so we don't have to type this all. The name is going to be users, and the action is going to be render inside of app layout users. Okay, so now we had our page, which was dashboard.html. Let's copy this whole page and let's make a new file named users. Let's actually capitalize this, users.html. Paste this in here. You can give this a name of users. And again, if the user is an admin, users. Otherwise, give them this not authorized. We can head to our page. Let's go ahead and head to dashboard. Now let's come to users management, so admin/users, and you can see we now have the users heading. So what we actually want here is we want a table of every single user on this site. Now obviously if we hit Control M right now, you can see the only user in the users object we have is the currently logged in user. That's because we have the prototyping packages removed from this. If we head to packages, you'll see that there is no prototyping packages, so auto publish and insecure are nowhere to be found. So that's fine, because what we need to do is let's go ahead and publish all the user data, but of course this time we want to do so with our newfound power of roles. Cool, so let's go ahead and head to our server, and we don't have any sort of publishing at all right now because we haven't really worked with any data. So let's go ahead and server, new file, and we'll just have this be publish.js. Now inside of here we can have a meteor.publish, and we want to publish all users. Okay, so we're going to be publishing all users, and this is going to be a function. And inside of here, what we want really is we want a query to return meteor.users.find. Okay, and we want to grab every user, so this is just going to be a blank object. Okay, so check this out. This might be a little interesting here. I'm going to do this on purpose for a reason. You might be seeing this line right now and already be noticing something. But to illustrate this, I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway. So let's go ahead. We have all users. Let's set up a template level subscription. So on our users.html, let's go ahead and create a user.javascript. So in that same pages file, we have users.js. Now keep in mind, I'm going to be cleaning up this pages file at some point here. So if you're noticing that it's getting a little unwieldy, don't worry about it. So let's go ahead and do a template.user with an S on created, and then we're going to have a function. Now inside of this method, what we want to have is a function. Actually, let me just type this here, function. Now we're going to have brackets like this. Now what we want to do is say this dot auto run, and now we're going to use an arrow function. You might be wondering why an arrow function. Well, I'll show you in just 1 second. We can have parentheses equals greater than brackets like this. If you don't know about the arrow function, check it out. What the arrow function does is it's not a shorthand. What it does is it actually preserves this. So now we can say this dot subscribe, and then we can say all users. If we were having this be a normal function here, we would have to do this like var that equals this and have that dot subscribe for it to find the right subscribe. But since we use the arrow function here, we can say this dot auto run parentheses function, then this dot subscribe. Okay, so check it out. Now when we head back to our page, you can see we have no issues. And if we hit Control M, we now see something very interesting. Instead of having one user, we have 6 users. Now, word of warning here, you'll notice we have all this information. We have the email, whether the address was verified. We have the ID created at. We even have the encrypted password here, as well as the token information. So this is information that you are going to really want to keep secure. And right now, even though this page is limited to logged in users, let's say we come to here, we're going to get a not authorized. Let's do Control M. You can still see that this object is getting published here. The user has access to this information. So let's go ahead and have a bit of privacy here in this subscription. We obviously only ever want all the users to be published to anyone if they're an admin. So let's go ahead and use our new ability and say if, and we can say if the roles.user is in role. And you might remember this or you might not remember this. This is a method here, but in Meteor's publish, we can access meteor.user. We need to access it with this.user ID. So if user is in role for this.user ID, and we're going to say admin, then and only then is this going to be published. So let's head to our page here, and I'm going to tab over I'm just going to do a solid refresh here, even though the standard one should be just fine here. You can hit Control M, see that the users, yep, users still exist. I'm logged in, I'm an admin. Now let's head to our page here, can do Control M. And now you can see after Control M'ing, the access for users is completely blank. Now this is super important because now if they're not logged in, I mean, even if they had any sort of access to any sort of information on our site, what they're not going to see is all of the users. Now what happens if they are a user but they're not an admin? Let's go ahead and create a new account. Register test@gmail.com. Registered. So I'm now a new email, and what's cool here is that we have access to my information, but what I don't have is I don't have the encrypted password. I just have emails, I have the profile, and I have the roles, and that's it. So I'm still not authorized. I can't see any data but my own, and even then it's not even any sensitive data. When I'm not logged in at all, I see nothing. But now as a user who's an admin, I have access to all of the users. Cool, so we now have the correct information published to the correct people. So in the next video, we're going to take that information, we're going to build upon our users.html template and start to build out our user administration dashboard, which of course we're going to be able to use to manage, upgrade, and change your users. So as always, this is Scott with Level Up Tutorials. If you have any questions or comments, leave a comment in the video. Hit me up at Twitter or Facebook at Level Up Tutorials. I've recorded over 850 free tutorials on YouTube, and I plan on doing at least 300 more this year. I'm dedicated to recording as many high-quality free tutorials as possible. So if you like this work and you like the free tutorials, please head over to store.leveluptutorials.com and purchase something from the store. There's premium series, there are t-shirts and stickers available for purchase, lots of cool stuff, and it's always updating with new stuff. So check it out. As always, this is Scott. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.